Ancient strategy, modern sales, one usable line per episode.
Last time, removing pressure speeds up deals. Today, what to say when talks stall. When the prospect goes quiet and every follow-up makes things worse. This happened to me last month. A deal was progressing perfectly. 3 great meetings. The prospect was aligned. Then, nothing. No response to my email. No reply to my voicemail. I waited a week. Sent another follow-up. Nothing. 2 weeks. A checking in message. Silence.
What did you do next?
I kept following up. More emails. Different angles. Just wanted to make sure this didn't slip through the cracks. Circling back on our conversation. Any updates on your end? By the end of this episode, you'll know why chasing stalled deals pushes them further away, and the one sentence that breaks the stall open. My old belief: stalled deals need more contact. If someone goes quiet, they're forgetting about you. The solution is to stay visible. Stay persistent. The more you follow up, the more likely they are to respond.
A reasonable assumption.
It felt reasonable, but the data told a different story. The more I followed up on stalled deals, the longer they stayed stalled. My persistence wasn't reminding them. It was giving them more things to avoid.
Because you were treating a confusion problem with a visibility solution.
A confusion problem?
Deals don't stall because prospects forget. Deals stall because prospects get stuck. Something changed internally. A new stakeholder, a budget shift, a competing priority. They don't know how to tell you, so they go quiet. Your follow-ups don't address the real issue. They add social pressure on top of internal confusion. Sun Tzu described exactly this dynamic in the chapter on marching armies. He wrote about reading the signs of confusion in the field. Jun Rao Zhe, Jiang Bu Zheng Yi. When the army is restless and unsettled, it means the general has lost authority.
How does that connect to stalled deals?
Sun Tzu also wrote about recognizing doubt in the enemy camp. Law Wei Si Zhe, Yu Xiu Shi Yi. Those who come offering concessions want a pause. And critically, Ban Jin Ban Tui Zhe, Yu Yi. Those who half advance and half retreat are trying to lure you. But in sales, the prospect who half engages and half retreats isn't luring you. They're stuck. They're confused. Hold that distinction.
So when a prospect goes quiet, they're not ignoring me. They're stuck between wanting to move forward and not knowing how.
Exactly. They like the conversation. They see the value, but something happened that they can't easily explain. Maybe their boss raised a concern. Maybe a competing project took priority. Maybe they simply don't know the next internal step. And admitting, "I'm confused," to a vendor feels vulnerable.
So they do the easiest thing.
They go quiet, not because they don't care. Because responding requires clarity they don't have. Your follow-up email asks them to re-engage. But they can't re-engage until they've sorted out the confusion. So each follow-up becomes another obligation they can't fulfill.
That changes everything. I've been treating silence as rejection, but it's actually paralysis.
And the cure for paralysis is never try harder. The cure for paralysis is to make movement simple. One small step, one clear direction. Let's look at what stalled deals actually cost you when you chase them wrong.
What happens when I keep chasing a stalled deal with standard follow-ups?
3 things. Each one makes recovery harder. First, you train the prospect to avoid you. Every unanswered email creates a small guilt debt. The more emails stack up, the harder it becomes to respond. Not because they don't want to, but because now they have to explain the silence too. You've made responding more work, not less.
Second,
you lose the collaborative frame. Just checking in and circling back are transactional phrases. They signal that you're tracking the deal, not caring about the person. The prospect feels like an item on your pipeline spreadsheet. Trust erodes because the relationship became a transaction.
And third,
you burn the re-entry window. There's a moment, Usually within the first 2 weeks of silence, where the prospect is still emotionally close to the deal. Reach them the right way during that window, and the deal revives. Chase them the wrong way, and the window closes. They mentally categorize you as that persistent salesperson and move on.
So the pattern is, the deal stalls. I panic. I chase with visibility tactics. The prospect avoids me more. The guilt debt grows. The re-entry window closes. The deal dies. And I wonder what happened.
When the answer was, you chased instead of diagnosing.
Chased instead of diagnosing.
Now, the sentence that breaks the stall.
Without breaking the trust.
6 words. When a deal has gone quiet and your instinct says send another follow-up, you send these 6 words instead. Let's slow down a moment.
Wait, slow down. The deal is already stalled. Why would I slow it down more?
That's exactly why it works. The prospect expects you to push harder. They expect another checking in email. They expect pressure. Instead, you give them the opposite. You signal, I see that something shifted. I'm not going to pretend it didn't. Let's acknowledge it. That's disarming.
So by slowing down, you actually create an opening.
The prospect exhales. Someone finally noticed. Someone isn't just pushing the pipeline forward. Someone is paying attention to the human in the conversation. That exhale is the moment the stall breaks. Because the prospect can now tell you what actually happened, without feeling like they failed or let you down.
How do I use this practically? Just those 6 words in an email?
Let's slow down a moment, followed by genuine curiosity. Here's the full move. Let's slow down a moment. I sense something may have shifted on your end. No pressure at all. I just want to understand where you are so I can be genuinely useful. That's it. 2 more tools. After saying, let's slow down a moment, offer a low-stakes exit. If the timing isn't right, that's completely fine. I'd rather know than guess.
You're giving them permission to say no.
And paradoxically, permission to say no makes it easier to say yes. When the pressure to commit is removed, the prospect can think clearly. Most of the time, they'll say, no, we're still interested, it's just that. And then they tell you the real blocker.
And the second tool?
When the prospect re-engages, resist the urge to accelerate. Don't jump to, great, so when can we schedule the next step? Instead, thank you for telling me that. What would be most helpful from my side right now?
You're staying in support mode.
The stall happened because the prospect felt overwhelmed. If you immediately speed up after re-engagement, you recreate the conditions that caused the stall. Stay slow, stay useful, the pace will build naturally.
3 tools. Let's slow down a moment. If the timing isn't right, that's completely fine. And, what would be most helpful from my side right now? All about diagnosing instead of chasing. Here's my takeaway. Stalled deals aren't dead deals. They're confused deals. The prospect is stuck, not ignoring you. More follow-ups add obligation on top of confusion. The cure for paralysis isn't pressure, it's making the next step simple.
Keep going.
Sun Tzu read the signs of confusion in the enemy camp. Restless armies, half retreats, offers of concession. He didn't charge, he diagnosed. In sales, a stalled deal is the same signal. Don't chase harder, slow down and read what's really happening. The principle, say, let's slow down a moment. Break the pattern the prospect expects. Create space for truth.
Drill zone. Come back here before you follow up on that quiet deal. A deal has been silent for 10 days. Your inbox shows 3 unanswered follow-ups. Your instinct says, try one more angle. What do you say instead?
Let's slow down a moment.
Again, like you actually mean it. Like you'd rather understand than close.
Let's slow down a moment.
Good. Now the permission move.
If the timing isn't right, that's completely fine.
And the support question.
What would be most helpful from my side right now?
The sequence. Silence detected. Reset. Let's slow down a moment. Permission. If the timing isn't right, that's fine. Support. What would be most helpful from my side? Diagnose the stall. Don't chase it.
Reset. Permission. Support.
This week's test. Find one stall deal in your pipeline. One conversation that went quiet. Instead of sending another follow-up, send those 6 words. Let's slow down a moment.
And if they don't respond even to that?
Then you have your answer. And that's valuable too. Knowing a deal is truly over frees you to invest energy where it matters. But 9 times out of 10, they respond. Because no one else in their inbox is offering them permission to be honest.
Which tool should I try first?
Whichever matches your week. A. Let's slow down a moment. B. If the timing isn't right, that's completely fine. Or C. What would be most helpful from my side right now? Drop your pick in the comments. I read every one.
Can we hear those one more time?
A. Let's slow down a moment. B. If the timing isn't right, that's completely fine. C. What would be most helpful from my side right now?
What's next?
A calm response to price pressure. When the prospect says, it's too expensive, and every instinct tells you to defend or discount. Same calm tone. One usable line.
Ancient strategy, modern sales, one usable line per episode.